And welcome back to the Crypto Hulk Show. Oh my God. I'll tell you what, that 2 days seemed like 5 days. Oh man. So I got to clarify things for dumb people that leave comments that I have to block. Obviously, I did not go to XRP Las Vegas. I've only been telling you for, I don't know, 4 years or 3 years or something that I don't go. I've only been saying that for 3 fucking years. So when someone says, oh, you're a sellout, you went to XRP Las Vegas. Well, then I'm really like, hey, how about if you pull the dick out of your ass, guy, before saying some dumb shit? So then you, like, why you want to let everybody know how fucking stupid you are, right? By saying dumb shit like that? You obviously don't watch the channel. So now you've got like thousands of people knowing that you're completely fucked in your head. So we just had to block certain people that make stupid fucking comments. Alrighty then. I had a nice little, not nice little, we went to one of the top steakhouses in Vegas. Caleb Brown hooked me up, me and the missus, and it was called Beyond. It was like Bizarre Meats is the name. BAZAAR Meats. Now it's in the bottom of the Sahara, which is not a place I'd ever stay. The steakhouse is in, I think, 2 months or less moving to the Venetian, which is the only place I stay. I did I went to, what was that, MGM. In the Uber, I was pulling up the MGM. I looked up at the sign. It's like 500 feet in the air or something, and like, or 300 feet in the air. The tiles are falling off from around the side. Before I even got to the MGM, I said, this is a ghetto hotel. I get to the bottom where they drop you off, and I knew right there, this place is fucking ghetto. I go into the lobby where you first get dropped off in the garage. Not good. Looked like everybody either just got out of jail or is on their way to jail. I spent probably 10 minutes there downstairs, and then I said, well, let me get one last chance. So I go up. I go to where you first come in on the main reservation lobby. No, I said, let's go. This place is not fucking good. So got in the car and went back. There's only, personally, the Venetian is the best for me. Just the amount of quality restaurants and shopping. I'm not one to go to concerts and shit and be around a bunch of fucking dumbass people. Occasionally I'll go to a country concert, and that's like Carrie Underwood or something, because you don't get these riffraff and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty selective about where I go. Venetian's the only place. Palazzo's hooked up to it. It's a little small for me, but it's the same owner. But I just like the Venetian. I was at the Encore. It's okay. And the Wynn, I guess, is connected to that. The Venetian is the absolute best for me. Now, you can like whatever. I don't give a fuck what you like. But those of you that just kind of want to, if you want to go to Vegas, and you want, and you try, and you like Crypto Hulk's, I don't know, opinions on things or whatever, then stay at the Venetian. Don't go anywhere else. And right across the street from the Venetian, there's like a nice little shopping mall, like a real outside, inside. So that's kind of how I like things. If you know my tastes, then you'll probably know my tastes on travel and stuff. Venetian's right in the center of all the good, expensive hotels and stuff. Anything outside of that is like fucking ghetto. So I don't go to that kind of places. Even right across the street from the Venetian, that fucking place, Treasure Island, that place is fucking garbage. So I'm just really selective. I can't. Yeah, Las Vegas. Yeah, there's only like those 4 hotels: the Encore, the Wynn, the Palazzo, and Venetian. And I wouldn't even go anywhere else. Venetian has everything I need in it, and especially that Smith and Woloski Steakhouse inside Venetian. That's the absolute, I love it. Alrighty then, next, we are not going to call up Caleb and Brown and try to push them to have certain cryptos. You don't get it. Okay, so this is for the mentally slow people. We are not calling up Caleb and Brown, asking them to carry certain cryptos. Okay, Caleb and Brown has their way of doing stuff, and I can probably suggest to them, and they would, but they don't need all the calls from people. See, they run a business. It's not a democracy. It's not like, well, if we get enough callers, they'll carry it. No, that's like a thug mentality, and that's a Democrat mentality. So you got to get off the channel because that shows that you're fucked up in your head. Or you had parents, like your mom was a dropout. Your mom got knocked up at age 16, and she's a waitress at Denny's, and your dad, well, he flunked out at 8th grade. He's a truck driver. So we don't need those kind of people contacting Caleb and Brown. How about if you just buy it somewhere else and then you could leave the channel? That's another option you could do too. All righty. Hulk's third eye, Popo eye kicked in. Look, I've worked around criminals most of my career. I know how they act. I can see shit before it pops off, this and that. All these places that I mentioned are just like everybody's going in or out of jail. It just depends on if you catch them when they just got out or pretty soon they'll be going in. All these casinos in Vegas are just fucking garbage. It's very interesting. The casinos I go to, it's peaceful. The people in there are peaceful. There's families. No threat of any kind in these casinos that I frequent, It's just people are nice. They got their grandmas with them and they're hanging out and they're generally probably a higher income or whatever. But even if they're not, it doesn't matter. It's just these other places, it's just fucking not, I don't go there. All right. Let me give a disclaimer. My name's Crypto Hulk. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor, not a crypto advisor. Don't buy anything I tell you to buy. Don't sell anything I tell you to sell. Before every show, before any kind of anything I've ever done, hell, 24/7, I stay high as fuck. Cocaine, heroin, hashish, roofies, PCP, methamphetamine. They're all in my system all the time. And that's how it's always been, even since birth. First thing is YT really jams up the channel. This really helps. So in every top chat, put like a comment or something, put like a sentence. YT sucks Big D. I don't have a problem with that. I'll leave your comment in. I won't kick you off. If you want to say anything derogatory about YT, go ahead. The platform's yours. I'll agree. After the show, put a comment. Save this show to your favorites. Everyone you watch, save it to favorites. Share this program with everybody, even to your own email. The reason we do that is to help remind us to watch the show again. We're not trying to manipulate an algorithm. We wouldn't do that in this channel. And don't do that because it would be, if your whole goal is to manipulate an algorithm, don't do it. It may not be illegal, but it's unethical. And you know me, I'm all about ethics. Lastly, YT loves Diddy parties. I'm sure that they do. And they, lastly, make a playlist of 8 videos, let it play. If the phone rings while you're sitting there for 8 straight hours, just hit the mute button on this, not on the YT app thing or whatever. YT knows if you got a playlist going and you're not watching it because you hit a mute button on theirs. The only time I'm instructing you to hit a mute button is if there's a phone call. What I want you to do is sit there on the couch for 8 straight hours and then just watch the videos, okay? All right. With that, let's go right into the new investment. Now I'm going to go into this crypto. This crypto is dealing with, it's a token for what we call the future verse. Oh man, here we go. Hot damn, now it's getting good at the 10-minute mark. First off, if you can afford a membership, now look, here's what I do. The universe freely gives to me information because it knows I'm going to freely give it to you. I got people all the time. Look in the comment section. Cryptoholic, thanks. I'm up 300% on this. I got ZK Sync and or whatever it was. Okay, I'll freely give information when it's given to me. I ask this: get a $5 or $10 membership. Please don't think this. Well, please don't think that. Well, I'm going to pay my $10 and I'm going to get. I want to be an exclusive club. Like seriously, you're going to pay 10 fucking bucks. And you think that's why I'm going to only give like my top group people. What the $10 is supporting the channel so I can reach other people. See, I'm not concerned about me. And if I was, I'd have a $500. I do have some $500 groups, but they know that those $500 groups, you can learn the same information. See, when the universe gives me information, I give it to you. So what I trust is that people join the channel. I trust I get I'm paying it forward, like IBW Dan. If you want great information, look, you're fucking $10. That shit's ridiculous, okay? A $10 is just to keep the program on. The information I give you, it's easily worth $500 or $1,000 a month. I got whales that drop 10 G's into something I just talk about. Okay, so some of them may pay $500 a month. A guy called me in Vegas. We talked 5 minutes. That's it. He just wanted to know, tell me what you're going to buy. That's all he wants to know. Hey, I haven't been able to watch your show for a week or two. I know who he is. And he's like, just tell me what you would buy yourself. That's what I told him. Call's over. Done. It's all the guy fucking wants. Okay. I'd prefer to try to break stuff down and explain. I kind of explain stuff a little, but he don't have time. So the information you get is the same as he gets. It's just he's so fucking busy. He's got 5 minutes, maybe every 2 weeks to call me or something. That's it. But you know what? He makes millions. So that's how it works. Jason, thank you very much for that tax-free donation. Right on. We got H888 Steel. Welcome to the entry-level membership. I got to read these off before I get into this. Walk of Life. Member for 8 months at the 2024 crypto explosion. Appreciate that. YT eats huge bowls of DS morning all. Huge bowls. Oh, my God. And we all love YouTube on this channel. Notice how I say it. I say the whole word, but normally I can't say the word YT because it sucks big D. Crypto Hooligan. Welcome to the 2024 Crypto Explosion. Then we got Dennis Hone. Right on for that. Tax-free donation. And I think S-Harib won. Right on for that tax-free donation. So I'm going to show you the crypto right now. We'll get right into it. There's so much that I learned on this Vegas trip. So much information that popped up. But this one, Jesse Monte, right on. Thank you for that tax-free donation. What happened there? Okay. I'm looking up, I'm putting together the article I want you to see. It's about the future verse. You've all heard of the metaverse. And what I'm doing is I'm clicking out of stuff. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm just eliminating dumb shit at the top of my screen. Priscilla King, welcome to the entry level membership. Smart decision. Okay, now this just came to me yesterday. I went over about 2 years ago the Futureverse. I went over it. I remember. I don't remember everything about it, but it was the Futureverse was something real big that's for the future, like after Web 3. So here's the thing. The Futureverse is where all this goes. So what I'm going to do right now is kind of explain to you what I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to read stuff off. Now, if you heard, I think it was like back in 2021 or 2022, all this NFT shit came out, Web3. Even these digital dildos were like, yeah, I'm going to get me some Decentraland and gaming. And they don't talk about that shit anymore. What happens is, and this is when Flare came out. So Flare, all this Web3 kind of like hit big, and then people like, oh, NFTs and da da da. What we got going on, crypto is a portion of what's going on. So some of you want to know, Crypto Hulk, what about AI? Crypto Hulk, what about how's all this going to work? Whatever. I don't have all these answers. What about AI? This, that. Okay, the Futureverse is the final destination, and Ripple is all a part of that. Okay, back 3 years ago, I'm talking about the Futureverse. I did a show specifically on the Futureverse, and we got into it, and then it just disappeared. Or did it? No, it's being set up. So crypto is just a part of that. When I start talking about Flare, see, I'm getting Flare at 1 penny a piece. So I don't have a problem. When I bought Flare, I didn't get it because I don't trust things. When I start, Flare kind of came out of nowhere, and then I don't trust this Hugo Philia. It looks like sounds like some kind of weirdo psycho stalker or whatever. And I'm not trying to announce my hardware wallet to somebody I don't know. So I'm not going to be one to jump in and get something free, because like I was in Vegas, some guy's like, hey, and he was like in the Venetian trying to give away something free or whatever. I don't know if it was a Venetian, but I'm like, dude, I don't want free shit. And then he's like, oh, that's the most foolish thing I ever heard. And I said, no, because free shit always costs you the most. Get out of my fucking face, okay? And then he just kind of like freaked out and shit, because I'm not nobody's going to tell me what I'm going to do. That's not how it works, okay? I know they got their little sales jobs and shit. I usually ignore them. But when he starts getting into my face, that's when I have to start talking a little bit louder, okay? I don't want free shit, okay? I don't want no airdrops. I don't want nobody to know my fucking wallet address thing, nothing. That's how I am. So what we got is we're going to get into the Futureverse. And let me start reading off this stuff here. I'm going to show you the article. I want you to have this article, read it in entirety, because this kind of hit, something was telling me about, I was getting feelings, or something was coming over me. And I'll tell you what, this Futureverse shit, this article just popped out of nowhere. I don't know where. I wasn't looking for news from a long time ago. This article here is from, well, it's right here, 2023, December. So, article about, it's called The Root Network, ROOT. Now, if you want to, the Root token fits into this description perfectly due to a few primary reasons, which I will bullet point below. But basically, the root token is a combination of people not but basically it's a combination of people not understanding future technological convergence. So what's going to happen are all these technologies we have now are merging together. As an example, you know how Ripple's now hooked up with Hedera and Algorand and everything. All these cryptos are coming in, merging together. That's what we're seeing. And this right here is kind of talking about that in 2023. It starts talking about bad macroeconomic conditions, right? And a lack of awareness and a lack of a misunderstanding as to what Futureverse and Root are building. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what is Futureverse and Root building, okay? When you understand that, this is why I went straight in and put 100% of all of my allowance into this from some article from 2023. And after I read this article again, I kind of already knew this back in 2023-ish or so, or 22, but I didn't know, like, I was still brand new to crypto and I didn't know how to find shit or whatever. I didn't know if it was for sale. The minute I knew I could buy this, I dumped everything. I don't want you to do this, okay? So don't do what I do. The main 4 factors that have set up this bet. Number 1, the market isn't seeing that AI, Web3, AR, and gaming are converging. Okay, now they were saying this back in 2023. Artificial intelligence is going to lead to an explosion of content creation using AI tooling. This article is telling us almost 2 years ago that there's going to be an explosion of AI coming. Right now, it's here. It's hitting right now. Everything I look at, everything's AI, right? Like, fuck, you go to the grocery store and shit, everything's starting to go artificial intelligence. I mean, hell, I went to the Tipsy Robot and Web3 makes this content ownable, tradable, and interoperable. AR brings this content to life, giving it more meaning. Roblox is becoming the new social media platform for the next generation, which will end up seeing adults join late, just like happened with Facebook. As all these things converge, digital ownership becomes more important. And that is where Futureverse and Root play a part. We go to point number 2. The bear market / negative sentiment is overdone and will swing back the other way, which I think we're starting to see it right now. It says this: inflation is still a problem. Crypto is over. Metaverse is dead. We don't need a new layer ones. NFTs are dead. Web3 is too complex. Will there ever be utility? Brands don't want to build on Web3 right now. So there was a lot of bear market shit, a lot of downturn in crypto. I think that's when after Trump left, it got really bad. Point number 3. The market doesn't understand Futureverse or the Root network yet. The NFT market thinks Futureverse just makes NFTs. But in reality, they are a technology platform focused on allowing others to create and bring in content to Web3. So the Futureverse is massively important. That's why it's called the future. The token market hasn't been exposed to the Futureverse yet because the token market thinks it's just an NFT project and haven't seen there is a token angle that has just become available, like Root. Futureverse and Root therefore sit in a blind spot for the entire crypto market. See, this is hidden. The Futureverse is hidden, and I'm going to show you today which crypto to get, let alone the traditional market, because they are misunderstood or just skipped over by influencers. This means most of the market doesn't have exposure and will want exposure if my thesis plays out. Now, the Futureverse raised 54 million. Here's point number 4. There's 300 developers working for Futureverse, and they've been building for 5 to 6 years. Futureverse is a platform, meaning they enable others to build, therefore don't have to succeed with their first-party content or application. Born Ready incubator fund they have. Ripple is a major investor. With their president, Monica Long, having a board seat on Futureverse. XRP has lacked utility until now. The Root network is about to provide them with that. XRP has 30 billion of capital that could move in if utility is provided. Futureverse has major partners like FIFA, Spotify, Coca-Cola, MasterCard. Well, we know MasterCard's a Ripple partner. Creative artist agencies, NVIDIA, the largest microchip company in the world, Alibaba Cloud. Alibaba's like the biggest. They provide so much for China. It's like probably the biggest company in the world. Authentic Brands Group, and there's more. Now, remember, this was 2 years ago, so there's way more than this now. Futureverse have managed to build AI 3D creator tool called DOT. Let me skip down. Futureverse AI tooling will allow anyone to create content and lead to an explosion of content hitting the Root network, which will reinforce its network effect. Root network is highly focused on user experience and removing any current friction points like multi-token gas, future pass, etc. The Root network has 5 revenue streams, unlike most blockchains with just one: transaction fees. Root has custom runtimes that bring revenue back to the stakers. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. See, in the future, I'm not staking right now. I'm not doing a fucking thing right now. I'm not trying to have any kind of wallet addresses of mine put out there in the public so the government can spy on it, okay? Now, I realize you can't just hide out, because then you're going to get your cheeks clapped. So I got to kind of split up I do a Caleb Brown thing, and then I got my own wallet, okay? 25% of my wallet, 75% on Caleb Brown. What I'm doing is I'm holding off until this Web3 takes off with the Futureverse after that taking off. This is a crypto. I'll tell you what it is here as we go through it. I need you to learn about it first before you run off and buy shit you don't understand what it is. I'll tell you what it is later. But this is the next phase that Ripple has. See, Ripple's technology is interoperable, right? Okay. They got the Ethereum virtual machine. There's smart contracts. There's all these other things probably that we don't know about right now. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping my stuff right where it is. I like the fact that Caleb Brown is not out there fucking around with my crypto, staking and loaning it out and leasing it and all kind. No, don't do a fucking thing. I want Caleb Brown to hold it and not do anything. That's what I want. Okay. And that's why it's in Fireblock's custody. Caleb Brown utilizes bank grade custody, the same that Bank of New York Mellon uses, BlackRock, Standard Chartered. All these are tied in with Fireblocks, and that's why Caleb Brown is right there. This is called the Root Network, and they will when it gets going, have all kinds of ways for you to make money, okay? Stakers are currently earning 40 to 50% annual percentage yield. That's pretty fucking amazing. Now, I'm not doing nothing with this right now. I don't trust anything 100%. So even though back in 2023 they had staking and shit where they're making 40 to 50% a year, which is pretty amazing, I'm not touching shit. Annual percentage yield, which implies it could 10x and still have sufficient APY. There are network effects. More content means more games. Let me scroll down. Alibaba will enable penetration into the Asian markets. That's massive. MasterCard is in here. They've been working on this shit. Conclusion, as you can see, there are a lot of factors playing into this becoming an asymmetric bet. But just like any asymmetric bet, all of this will take time to play out. Just remember that as hard as it can be, there is a massive value for sitting under the radar. Let me repeat that again. There is massive value for sitting under the radar and patiently waiting for the market to recognize your insights. So there's that article there. Let me check some comments. And now I'm going to show you AI. So somebody's been en route since 2022. Okay, now if you do a Google search and you type in what crypto are working with the Futureverse, here's what AI says. Google: Futureverse collaborates with various cryptocurrency projects and utilizes different crypto tokens within its ecosystem, primarily centered around the root network. Okay, here are some of the key crypto aspects and partnerships. So now there's different ones involved, but let's just talk about only the top ones. Okay, so here's where you all wanted to know. The Futureverse is working with the root network, so that if you go to Caleb and Brown, they sell this. So here's the thing. This is just how I believe. And they have the token called ROOT. Now, I only buy my crypto on Caleb and Brown, and there's going to be opportunities that maybe Caleb Brown might not catch early. But here's the thing. If the crypto, Caleb and Brown can only buy cryptos that they vet and that they investigate and there's liquidity for it and it's not a scam. See, just because you want something right now doesn't mean they're going to sell it. They're a brokership and they have a reputation. And that's why I like them. If they got it, I'm buying it. Generally, look, you have... See, let me tell you something first off. Caleb Brown is like a professional brokerage. They're not designed specifically for poor people. First, I want you to understand all this. They should be set up just for high-end businesses and individuals. You're lucky to get to use Caleb Brown. You need to change how you think about Caleb Brown. They deal with banks and super rich people. They're being lucky to let you in. So you need to change how you're looking at shit, okay? You're not going there, hey, we want this, we want that. Go to the fucking Coinbase. That's for all the retards and shit and the people getting in and out of jail. Go to Coinbase for that kind of mentality, okay? Because we don't want you here for that. Caleb and Brown, I talked to them this weekend. I asked them, how do you go about buying the crypto and stuff? I said, but give me like the brief. And he said this, there's about 10 things on a list, and that crypto has to fit those 10 or we're not buying it. And he said, later, if you want, I can, we teach all of our brokers this and stuff. And I'm like, right now, I don't really need to get in depth. But he says, if we sell it, he says, we're a professional brokerage, so we just don't buy stuff that could be garbage. Like, we have to clearly make sure it's safe. We have to investigate who made it, kind of like what I do on my show, who made it, and all, but they have to do more than me because they're a licensed brokerage, okay? They've got to deal with governments and shit. So they're way stricter than me. So that's kind of what's going on with them. They sell this, and we're going to get into more what it is here in a minute. I'll spend the whole show on this because, like I said, I dumped my whole month's allowance into this crypto based on what I discovered. And I remember doing a show on this a long time ago. Wayne Williams, thank you very much for the tax-free donation. Late fee accrued and paid. Work sucks. And just for fun, YT does too. It certainly does. Robert Driscoll, late fee, glad you're back, Hulk. I know, it feels good to be back. So we look here at Futureverse. They're working with the crypto on Caleb Brown called Root, ROOT. The Root token is used for transaction fees and in gas fees and governance within the Root. It works with Ripple XRP. Futureverse has partnered with Ripple. Now, to me, that's all I need to hear personally. Futureverse has partnered with Ripple, leveraging Ripple custody, so that's Medico, for secure storage. Futureverse using XRP as the network gas token and integrating with the XRP ledger. In 2023, Ripple also invested in Futureverse Series A funding round. Now, they're working with something called Animaka Brands, a leader in Web3 game publishing. Next, Story. They're working with something called Story, and it's PIP Labs. The core contributor to Story, a layer 1 blockchain for managing and commercializing intellectual property as programmable assets. It leverages AI and shit. Then they have, now here's something I couldn't find. Now here's 2 more tokens you might want to get. It's all up to you, but I'm not telling you to buy them. ASTO, that's Alpha Sam Thomas Ocean. And then the other crypto is SYLO, Sam Yellow Lincoln Ocean. You could look those up on whatever website if you wanted to buy those. So the 3 tokens that I see, according to AI, they're working with is the XRP token, the Root token, the ASTO, and the SYLO. Let me check some comments and we'll continue learning more. Oh, the future. I told you I don't have a link for Futureverse. If you listen more carefully, here's the search that I did on Google AI. What cryptos are working with Futureverse? I already told you that this is AI. So the link goes like 10 million miles across the screen. So I told you you're going to have to type this in on your own. What cryptos are working with the Futureverse? And then I don't have a link. You just go to your Google AI and type it in. So those are the 3 cryptos for that. Now, let me look. It talks about metaverse. You could just go to Google AI and type in metaverse, and it'll show you what metaverse is. But it's tied into this. Now, let's go to CoinMarketCap. You do a copy and a paste. Root is up 13%. Let's see. Yeah, it's up 20% since I got it. So I bought it and it's already up like 22. Now it's up 22%. Let's get into what this is. Okay. If we go to CoinMarketCap, we can learn about it. They have a lot of information about the Futureverse. Now, the token is Root, R-O-O-T. The Root token is the primary token of the Root network. What is the Root network? The Root network's a layer 1. It's designed as the hub. I need you to listen to this. You guys have heard of the metaverse, okay? The Root network is the hub of the metaverse where anything can be connected to anything. Are you seeing this? This is why this fucking thing is going to take off in the future. Not right now, okay? I'm not expecting this thing to do shit for whatever. I don't care how long. But what we're looking at is 1 year, maybe 2 years, or whatever it is down the line. This one is well in advance. So you're not flipping this thing. Whether it goes up or down, I don't even care. What's going to happen is they're already starting to flip it right now. Okay. So here's what I do. I invest in this because in 1 to 2 years from now, I hope to be like super fucking rich. Not tomorrow. That's not what I do on this show. We're talking about this Root network is going to be a hub of the metaverse, which everyone's getting all the NFTs and all that shit. This Root network is going to connect everything, kind of like what Ripple does. That's why Ripple's working with them. Ripple is in on this project. The Root network prioritizes user experience. Let me look with built-in account abstraction. It features like it's any token gas economy, enabling the world's largest content brands, to onboard users seamlessly and safely. The Root network is Ethereum virtual machine compatible. That's why it's working with Ripple, because that's what Ripple has, Ethereum virtual machine side chains. Ethereum with other networks on the horizon, allowing content interoperability in the open metaverse. Let me go down a little more here. The Root network is an open source community project founded by Futureverse. Now it's out of New Zealand. And if we study, I've already shown you this. I'm not going to show you again. Ripple went into New Zealand and Australia in 2014. Ripple has one of their founders working for the Australian government. Dilip Rao is his name. A guy named Dilip Rao is running the country of Australia, their crypto projects. their banking system, everything in the government. Remember now, crypto is not just for sending money. What Ripple's doing is building into the Australian government a cryptography is using encrypted code. So that's what we're talking about here. And it just somehow, like, I mean, look, explain, okay, you've got Ripple helping the Australian government build their crypto system. That's pretty fucking huge right there. Now, out of New Zealand, they were partners with Ripple back 10 years ago. So is Australia. And here we see that this root network is right out of Auckland, New Zealand. What a coincidence, huh? That's why some tell me this thing is going to be massive. Futureverse began by rolling up 11 technology and content companies with the aim of building the true foundations of the open metaverse. This company here will be the foundation of the metaverse. And it lists about Alan McDonald, Shara Senderoff, Marco Brandani, and Daniel Gillespie. Those are the people that founded it. Futureverse has brought in substantial expertise in Web3. This is amazing right here. AI, artificial intelligence, and entertainment. The root network has been designed specifically to enable better use experience to Web3, better interoperability for builders. That's where Ripple comes in, of content-oriented applications. It talks about easy to build content-oriented applications without having to build their own smart contracts. The root network has a unique rewards economy that collects fees from a range of network activities and creates a pool of rewards for anyone participating in network invalidating. Our NFT runtime allows you to create digital collectibles and tokens that can be used and exchanged across different applications. So the thing with this, this root network is that it's interoperable and all the metaverse will be built on top of this. This will be like a Ripple, the XRP ledger is to the whole Web3 AI world right here. This is a massive project that they're working on. They're getting it all set up. It's not ready for sale. You will not be rich tomorrow. Do not buy this if your intention is to try to, whatever, flip it or get rich. That's not going to happen. It's going to take a little time. That's why I'm getting into this before I look at who's involved in this project. And the minute I seen Ripple and Monica Long and all this stuff, I'm like, oh, wow. And then Australia, I'm like, this one is it. Our built-in smart wallet account abstraction enables users to get on board using a familiar web experience and enhances user safety for digital assets. Hold on a minute. So, root is the network token used by node validators and delegators to secure the proof of stake network. That is what we got here with root. Let me check some comments here. Thoughts on White Rock? I haven't studied enough to comment. I've been busy for 3 to 4 days. Somebody says, you're right, Hulk. I am. Oh. Ripple, in fact, was working with the Reserve Bank of New Zealand in 2014. Yeah, I've been telling you guys for about 2.5, almost 3 years, all this about Ripple and Australia, New Zealand, Korea, China, all of these. Because remember, I got the Ripple customer list of 2013 and 14. Now, that's a long time ago. But what I know is those are the companies, I told you already, the early customers of Ripple's where everything takes off. Australia is right in there with New Zealand. You guys are taking off first. Now, those of you in New York, I got good news. Eric Adams, or whatever his name is, he's in New York. I'm letting you know. In New York, I think they're going to get rid of that bit license thing. Okay. Now, if they do that, that means you'll probably get Caleb and Brown. Okay. What I read, and don't call up Caleb and Brown. What I read on the internet is something about Mayor Eric Adams, or maybe he's the governor. I don't know what the fuck he is. I don't care about New York. But what I did see is that New York was thinking of getting rid of that bit license law or whatever they have. If they do that, they will allow more crypto companies to come in and get set up. Could that be Caleb Brown? Yes, it could. So what you need to do is just keep watching the news about New York, which I don't do. But if something pops up with New York and the bit license, somebody let me know. Because if they get rid of that shit, Caleb Brown will more likely be in New York. Your government in New York is fucked up. That's why you can't get Caleb and Brown. Now, they won't tell you that, but that's just my personal opinion. All right, Matt, 59754. Thank you very much for that. Root sounds really solid. So does White. Thanks, Hulk. There's just been so much news, and I've been busy. I haven't had any time. Now I'm back at work again, so I can study shit again. Eric Adams is mayor. Okay. So that guy's got some power to get some shit done. So that is Root. And when I saw that, I'm just like, you know what? I got to get this thing. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know anything about this stuff. You should never buy any kind of crypto just because I do. And all I did today was just show you a crypto that's working with Ripple, and that is all. I'm not trying to get rich tomorrow personally. Let me look up something here. Hold on a minute. Oh. Well, right now, Root, yeah, it's up 33%. I think I bought it last night at before I went to bed around 9 o'clock-ish p.m. Was it 8? It was more like maybe 8-ish. I can't remember. Somewhere around there, 8 or 9-ish, I bought it. And then but yeah, it just it kind of just went up just because probably some of you are buying it. But remember, this whole Root thing is, you look at what I look at is who's in on the project and what are they trying to do. And I look at those two. Those are my two biggest factors. So when I see XRPs involved and they're trying to be an interoperable Futureverse platform. Now I did a whole show on the Futureverse. Maybe it was like, 20, 30 minutes. But I remember the Futureverse. I just didn't think, otherwise I could have gotten it years ago. But I wasn't that good when I first started and know how to buy shit. So but still I got in. No, I'm not going to tell you how much I got. Matt59754. Welcome to the entry-level members. YouTube is so fucked. It's this guy's been a member for probably 4 years or something on this channel. 3-4 years at least, right around there. And they're trying to make it look like he's entry-level membership. That's so fucking stupid. This platform's so garbage. So you can buy Root at Caleb and Brown. That's the sponsor that I have. If the a lot of these different cryptos that I'll talk about, they'll go up, you know, but like that's not my whole point. Eventually they're going up. That's why I get into it. It's not because it's going down. This crypto, the Root crypto, is one where Ripple is trying to have a crypto future with Web3, Metaverse, Futureverse, artificial intelligence, and all these things. And they need a platform where everything's interoperable. And this is where Root comes in. Remember, all this Web3 stuff is still ahead of us. So this is a crypto where you're able to get super welfare cheap. Like if you're on welfare, you should be able to buy at least 50,000 of these for like $10. Okay, it's that fucking cheap. But the problem is you can't do that at Caleb and Brown. So you have to put in $500 to get this if you wanted to get it there. But that's my only place now where I'm buying crypto. And I'm going to show you why. JJ, welcome to the 2024 crypto explosion. Now I'm going to show you some very, very deep divey. This will be short. It won't take long because I got about 4 minutes. I'll probably let the show go 10 more minutes. I want to show you something next about Fireblocks. Here's why I use Fireblocks. It's tied in. Fireblocks is the custody solution that Caleb and Brown uses. And I want to show you something here. Very interesting. GS Junk. Late fee, right on. Thank you for that. Okay, why am I messing with Caleb and Brown? Here's just one of the reasons why. Look at the title of this. Now, this is 5 years old, almost. Israeli-born Fireblocks. Oh, Crypto Hulk. Look what we got here. Something's going on with that country. Guess who's mixed up in that? Fireblocks. Fireblocks, an Israeli-born company. Oh, really? Please keep going, Crypto Hulk. It's helping enterprises adopt and manage crypto. You've got Galaxy Digital involved in this. The Digital Currency Group. Those are like some of the biggest right there. The Digital Currency Group, that's so fucking massive. If you got them working with you, you got a green light. Essentially, Fireblocks, which is what Caleb Brown uses, helps enterprises and other institutions expand their businesses by moving into crypto, digital assets and crypto. Their customers, when they first started, Revolut, Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo. Now what's interesting is even though they're out of Israel, they have a headquarters in New York. Interesting, huh? Now I want to show you something. They're going to open offices in these cities. Let's take a look. Germany, Ripple partner. United Kingdom, Ripple partner. Singapore, Ripple partner. Hong Kong, Ripple partner. All of these from day one. Let's look at the evidence right now. I already showed you on my short video. You have something called Ripple Israel. This is taken from September 2013. You guys, 12 years ago, Ripple Israel, Israel's first Ripple gateway. Let me read for you what this page shows. The next generation of digital currencies is now available in Israel. 12 years ago. Before it was even in America. Before we even heard of Ripple. Before we even heard of Ripple, they already have Israel hooked up, everybody. This is September of 2013. Ripple Israel is the first Ripple gateway established in Israel. We provide a service enabling people to transfer their new Israeli shekels. Isn't that something? Now you can trade Bitcoins for shekels directly. And listen to this. You know how slow Bitcoin is or whatever? Okay, but listen to this. Most Bitcoin withdrawals are initiated within 60 seconds. Oh, what are they doing? They're running it on the XRP ledger, everybody. I'm going to tell you what. I told you from day one, when Ethereum was proof of work and Bitcoin is proof of work, you have all this Litecoin and all this dumb shit. I said, imagine there's a highway. Tell me if I never said this. I was saying this 5 years ago. Imagine there's a highway, and it's called the XRP highway. And anybody's kind of car can drive on it. And if you have a really shitty car, like a Bitcoin car or an Ethereum or Litecoin or something like that, all right, so you're driving down the highway. Everybody's got their own cars. Even your Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin and Dogecoin, they can drive on the highway, but you know how they're driving on it? They're on top of a XRP tow truck, and you'll see the guy in the Bitcoin cart trying to, like you're sitting, like the little kids, the parents push them in the shopping cart, and they have that little shopping cart has a steering wheel, so the little kid think he's turning the cart when it's really mommy or daddy. That's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Dogecoin and shit. Anything proof of work related or close to that, they're running on the XRP highway. That's how in Israel you can have a Bitcoin transaction as slow as Bitcoin is in 60 seconds. But they got to be on top of the XRP tow truck on the XRP highway. That's how that works. So that's why right off we saw how Israel 12 years ago is a Ripple partner, and that's why where the Fireblocks is coming out of Israel right here. So we got Singapore and Hong Kong also were early partners. So here's a web page. Here's a video that I made. Let's do a copy and a paste. And what we're looking at right here in the very beginning is the International Ripple Business Association. What I want to go to first is the 34-second mark. Go to the 34-second mark. Okay, we'll fast forward up to here. What we're looking at here are Ripple's early customers. If you look right at the top, you'll see New Zealand. And if you look a little bit in the middle, it shows Israel, China. But look down, you'll have Singapore, Hong Kong. These are all the same people that were on the webpage we were just looking at earlier with Fireblocks and stuff. Now here's Ripple Singapore. I'm looking at here. Gold and silver in your wallet. This is 2015. It's not on the page you're looking at. And here's Hong Kong. I showed my little short video. Largest Ripple gateway in Hong Kong. Okay, so Ripple's been a partner from those companies right away. The article mentioned Germany. Fireblocks is going to have offices in Germany, Hong Kong, Singapore. These are all Ripple partners from day one. Here's my opinion. Fireblocks is a Ripple partner. That's my opinion. Here's the article here. Former German minister joins Ripple Labs. Now, he's not a minister in the church. Go to the second paragraph. Minister of Defense under German Chancellor Angela Merkel. So there's one German connection with Ripple. Isn't that interesting? Let's think about this. Ripple's like in its first or second year, and they have a German defense minister on the board. What does he know about crypto? Nothing. Well, why is Ripple hiring a defense minister? That's a good question. I also have another question. Why is Ripple's first bank a German bank? Here's your evidence right here. These would have been great questions to ask at the conference in Las Vegas, but no other channel brings this shit up, and people get mad at you for bringing up the truth. That's why I can't go to places. People don't want to know that they've been watching dumb shit programs for years. So here's this right here. You have Ripple's first bank right there, German bank. It's called Fedor. Ripple Labs announces Fedor Bank as the first bank to use the Ripple protocol. 2014. That's the same year Ripple hired a defense minister from Germany to represent Ripple. Like, what the fuck's going on with Ripple in Germany and the government's defense department, huh? You never hear that at a convention for Ripple, will you? No. Here we have the Ripple ledger, the actual Ripple XRP ledger. It's now under the control of France. There's your proof for that right there. Go to the second paragraph right in the middle. The XRPL Foundation, which means the XRP Ledger Foundation, will operate under what? French law with the Paris Court of Appeals. Crypto Hulk, explain that one. I can't explain it. It makes no sense why you got German defense ministers working for Ripple. It makes no sense to me why Ripple hires a German bank to be their first customer when they're in America. And then I don't explain why control over the Ripple ledger is in France now. Makes no sense to me. Now, again, people like, oh, we're getting rid of all the people at the top. No, we're not. Do you see what's going on? The people at the top are in control of this shit. No, okay, look. People that are misguided, these channels that are misguided, and that's about 99% of them, have some idea in their head that we are going to get free from the banking industry. Those people are delusional that are running these other channels. You need to understand something. What is Ripple? It's a government contractor. Ripple is the government. Do you not get this? And it's the government because the top 5 families of the world are controlling the government, who then founded Ripple. The internet was founded by the government of the United States that I know. For all I know, it probably came out of Europe somewhere in some 3-letter agency. Look, the internet's the government or the rich families. I'd say your top 10 crypto projects in the world, they're all government related and controlled. Fedor Bank, if you trace the roots of Fedor Bank, it goes back to Germany. The government's in Germany. Now the government of France controls Fedor Bank. You got the ledger going to France. These crypto projects, please don't think that all these crypto projects are just people coming up with ways to overthrow the, no, it's the government's way of enslaving everybody. You're not being free with crypto. You're not being freed with crypto. You're not being freed with crypto. You're not being freed with crypto. Get that into your head. You're being enslaved by the top 5 families of the world. Crypto's not here. I heard on this one show, I stopped watching this one particular person on X or calling in or whatever. You're not being freed from crypto. You're being turned into a slave. Okay, that's where all this goes. I told you this from day one when I started my show. I'm going to show you for a way to get rich, but eventually the government's going to probably find a way to take it all away from you. Okay, everyone's going to be enslaved eventually. Crypto is not freedom, okay? So no one's here to rescue us. What crypto is appearing, what they're going to do is some people are going to make some money. The Tone Lokes, can you do a deep dive on Energy Web Token? They have indirect connections to Ripple. Look, everybody's going to have Ripple connections. I could look up Energy Web. I'll try to remember. So what happens is a lot of these channels out there are going to say, oh, we're being freed from all the oppression, or the Rothschilds are going bankrupt. No, but Crypto Hulk, I saw the castle. I saw the castle. It's empty. Okay. I can't get into anything specific about what I just said, but these same people are the ones that are controlling all the crypto. So they found a new way to hide. I don't know what they're doing, but they're hiding right now. But they're behind. Who do you think's selling the crypto to crypto.com, Coinbase? Where do you think they're getting all this from? I'm not mentioning the names because I already mentioned it. No rich families are getting poor. It's not going to happen. It may look like stuff on paper or whatever. These people aren't going away. They're the ones who are going to control all this crypto. They may look all broke and poor, but they'll be worth probably quadrillions instead of just trillions. Like they might be worth 100 trillion now. Oh, they'll be worth 1 quadrillion. But what happened to the castle? I thought they were all going broke. No, you thought. That's what you were doing. You were thinking. And you weren't watching Crypto Hawk channel. That's the problem. So that's what I'm showing you here is this whole, hey, I got the custody of Fireblocks and stuff. And I got the custody just like you. Whatever. Look, you can't run. Okay, let's say you have all your stuff in a hardware wallet. Why don't all the banks? Why do the banks have? Why do 2,000 banks and financial institutions have Fireblocks? Why don't they just buy the wallets? Hardware wallets. All they got to do, right? There's a reason for that. Now, I don't mean to scare people. I'm just here to tell you reality. I really feel like, okay, at first I didn't buy all this crypto because I'm afraid that somehow maybe the exchanges will get hacked or something. 5 years ago was a lot different than what I've learned today. So rule number one, don't put everything in crypto. I don't. Like right now, I got more money in gold and silver than crypto. Still, I'm getting pretty close. I'm getting real close now to where my crypto and gold are about neck to neck. The reason I do that is because I don't trust crypto, because it's the government. I don't trust any hardware wallet. Look, if they're going to take it, they're going to take it. That's just how it is. So that's why I've got more gold and silver than I do crypto. That's my emergency. If all else fails and all this was a big old rug pull and somehow a quantum computer got out and hacked everybody's shit or whatever, the root network is up 40%, by the way, just saying. So if you were somebody, you know what 40% is? 3 years worth of gains in a normal stock market. 3 years worth of gains. I just showed you over the past, I don't know, hour. But people are going to want to sell and short it and stuff like that. But I wouldn't personally. I'm keeping that. I dumped. I can't tell you how much, but I was just like, "Oh shit!" I got a lot of root. I can't tell you how much, but it's just a lot. I would say now, nothing's as much as my XRP. I don't have a lot of numbers of XRP. I don't even have a lot of dollars. But that's my number 2 holding is root. But let me tell you something. When root goes up, it might dwarf what I make off XRP. Let me put it to you like that too. Now it's cheaper. I got in a pretty cheap price at root. Now, if it goes to, I don't know, $5, there's a chance my root would be worth more than my XRP. That's how much I got. Because when I heard XRP's worked with root to form the whole new financial system, I'm like, oh shit. So that's a pretty big use case right there. When Web3 AI metaverse and all that shit goes on top of the futureverse, oh man, the whole future's running on root. That's what it's going to run on. So, okay. I think that should wrap it up. Preston Reed, thanks, Hulk. Glad to see you back. Stay blessed. Right on for that. Appreciate it. Tax free. Let's take a look. With Whiteroot, we can be rich. Oh, that's just brilliant. Okay, Robbie Driscoll says, thanks, Hulk, for the great show. Cheers for another banger. Okay, I'll have a show lined up for the PM. That's for show. I think it'll be 5 or 5:30. I don't quite know right now, but somewhere about the same time. Every day I usually do a show, 7 a.m. Pacific time, about 5 or 5:30 p.m. Pacific. So I'll do 2 shows a day, split them up about 10 hours apart because I'm trying to reach the whole fucking planet. Now, today on the PM show, we're going over some really, really big news. And it's related to Ripple. I don't want to give it away. It could be the biggest payment system in the world utilizing Ripple technology. Undercover, of course, and it was all planned out 12 years ago, okay? I don't want to give it away. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be another crypto opportunity. I don't know if I have the name of the crypto yet. I don't think so, but it'll be one to where I'm going to tell you what, the minute it hits the scene, buy the fuck out of it, okay? That's what I'm telling you. I'm going to show you the cryptos and the technology that are building with what could be the next biggest payment system in the world, and they're utilizing Ripple, so they're not going to replace Ripple at all. That means your XRP can go up, or if you got XRP and you want to diversify, this might be something else that you want to look into. I'll see you later tonight. Yeah, we'll get into it. I'm not starting giving. I don't want to give nothing away. And I will see y'all the next one.